Coming up on this edition of Carolina Week, March Madness is underway and men's basketball is moving on to the Sweet 16.
Substance abuse is a major issue among college students, but the effects reach far beyond campus.
And we'll introduce you to some Tar Heel hounds who aren't camera shy. All that and more, Carolina Week
starts right now.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
After a chaotic student body presidential election, the final vote will take place this week. Good afternoon, I'm Sharon Nunn.
And I'm Alex Prey. We have all the information you need to cast your vote, but first we turn to our top story, Tar Heel basketball. It was a bracket-busting weekend at the NCAA tournament, but the men's basketball team managed to stay alive. Reporter Brendan Marks joins us from the Dean Dome to recap their game against Arkansas. Brendan?
Thanks, Alex. In case you didn't know, and I'm sure that you already did, the Tar Heels advanced to the Sweet 16 on Sunday night after knocking out Arkansas. They'll play Butler on Friday, and let's take a little look at how they got there. The Tar Heels got off to a strong start against Arkansas. Here goes Theo Pinson inside with the acrobatic layup. And then a few minutes later, Joel Berry from deep. Bang, that's good. He's feeling himself. But the Razorbacks came racing back, pulling up here for the deep three over Kennedy Meeks. And then in the second half, Arkansas lead. Inside spin move and kiss it off the glass. From there, UNC's luck only got worse. Isaiah Hicks bobbles the ball, passes it to Pinson. Boink right off the shoe to a nearby Razorback who buries another long three. But in the end, this dunk from Hicks, kaboom, helped get UNC back on track. And here, the play of the game, Berry tosses it up, and Meeks tips it in with a second left to shoot. Heels go up three and don't look back. Arkansas runs out of magic from beyond the arc, and then UNC cruises to the end. This Justin Jackson steal and dunk punctuated the win, earning the Heels a date with Butler in the Sweet 16. On Tuesday afternoon, we got to talk to Coach Roy Williams and a couple of the UNC players about their upcoming matchup against Butler, and here's what they had to say.
I know a couple of those kids, and I really like their coach.
A very physical team. They play hard every possession. They're going to make you earn everything you get.
The Tar Heels will take on Butler at 7:09 p.m. on Friday night, and if they can win, they'll take on the winner of UCLA and Kentucky. Not the easiest matchup, but we'll see if they can get there. Alex, back to you.
Thanks for that analysis, Brendan. We'll have more March Madness coverage later in the show.
Another competition that's heating up, the UNC student body presidential election. After a campaign season full of accusations and disqualifications, there are two candidates left, Elizabeth Adkins and Maurice Greer. Adkins' platform prioritizes inclusion and diversity, mental health, and the prevention of sexual assault. Greer's platform also addresses sexual assault prevention, parking supply and demand, and allocation of congressional funds to reach all student groups, as well as environmental concerns. The runoff election will take place this Friday.
Substance abuse is a problem across the nation, affecting Americans aged 18 to 25 at a rate higher than any other age group. Reporter Katie Kimmon joins us live from the Student Wellness Services to talk about one UNC student whose experience with substance abuse. Katie?
That's right, Alex. Here at Student Wellness Services, the university offers programs and mentorships for students dealing with addictions to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. But substance abuse affects more than just the individual. I spoke with one UN student who knows the struggle of addiction and its effect on loved ones. Bart Arconti is a junior at UNC. He faces the same challenges that other UNC students face, balancing schoolwork, sleep, and a social life. But Arconti also faces another challenge, addiction.
And when I discovered drinking and doing drugs like that was such an instant relief.
He began using drugs and alcohol when he was 13, and he struggled with addictions to substances like alcohol, oxycodone, and heroin for a long time. He's been sober since April 2013. Though resisting his addictions has gotten easier, his addiction reaches further than just him, to his mom.
My mom, obviously I'm her only child. It was really tough for her to see me doing what I was doing to myself. She definitely has a thicker wall up now.
He says he's witnessed one major trend in the families of those who have addictions.
When you're on the drugs and stuff like that, you're making other people around you paranoid, and they're trying to control you, and they're addicted to the whole drama. You'll see people who get clean, but their parents can't let go of that.
Aaron Post works for the UNC Wellness Center. He too has witnessed this trend.
He says it can be difficult for people whose families or loved ones suffer from addiction.
There's a sense of constantly being on the ledge. You know, it's almost like a perpetual jack in the box, just kind of going like this, and you're just waiting for it to sometime pop out, at you. And that creates anxiety for people.
He's created a program called The Ripple Effect, which will begin next month. The name of the group refers to the harmful effects a person's addiction has on those around him. The goal?
To learn a little bit about how these relationships work out and maybe why sometimes we end up in these kinds of relationships.
Arkanti has seen firsthand the benefits of programs like this. His mother was involved in a similar one.
It educates family members about the individual who's suffering. If you don't do that, then people get stuck in these emotional tangleholds.
He says he hopes more programs like this pop up at other schools across the country to save other families the heartache his has suffered.
According to the Addiction Center and Addiction Treatment website, college students are twice as likely to abuse drugs and alcohol than their peers who are not full-time students. Alex?
Katie Kamen live from Student Wellness Services. Thanks, Katie.
President Trump has promised to replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Now the GOP is following through with that promise, pushing to get a replacement health care bill passed. It's been under intense scrutiny, though, from both sides of the aisles, with experts projecting that it could leave up to 15 million people without insurance.
Reporter Noah Daniels-Wilder spoke with one North Carolina woman who says Obamacare saved her life. He joins us live in the studio. Noah?
Yes. Republicans hope the replacement health care bill will take the discussion of health care away from the government and give it back to the states. Republicans say Obamacare failed in comparison to this bill, but some people in the Triangle feel otherwise.
On most days, you can catch Kim Jones drinking coffee and enjoying the peace of outdoors.
Try to come out every day.
It's a luxury she almost lost. In 2013, Jones fell and hit her head.
They called an ambulance and they came and got me and took me to a local hospital there in Brooklyn to check to see if I had a fracture or to check to see if I had a concussion, and I didn't have either. But they said what we see, a tumor.
At the time, she had no insurance.
I realized that I had fallen through the cracks.
She says once she received insurance through Obamacare, it saved her life.
Republicans and President Donald Trump vowed to repeal Obamacare with the American Health Care Act. So what does this mean for North Carolinians?
This is life or death for many people here in North Carolina.
Brendan Riley is a health policy analyst with the North Carolina Justice Center.
They promised better coverage for everyone, better plans, lower costs. This bill would not do that.
With more than 1 million people in North Carolina signed up for the Affordable Care Act, some people are worried about their future.
What that does is put the coverage and the benefits of all the people in North Carolina, some of our most vulnerable communities, at risk.
Not only the most vulnerable communities, but people who do not think they need insurance.
And I hadn't had it for quite a long time.
Fighting for her life, Jones realized the importance of insurance.
All of those things I found out because I had insurance. And had I not had it, I wouldn't have known.
Kim Jones isn't out of the woods yet. She still has medical problems as a result of the tumor, so she's relieved to have coverage.
I'm happy that I have it, and I'm still using it.
House Speaker Paul Ryan and members of Congress say they won't just pull the rug from under people's feet who are already insured. Now, it will take a long time before the Replacement Health Care Act reaches the president's desk, but Republicans say they are confident it will get there. Back to you.
Noah Daniels-Wilder live in the studio. Thanks, Noah.
You might think you know what you can recycle and what you can't.
But lots of people are making recycling mistakes, and they're costing us. That's coming up next.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire, but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
A big win for UNC's Center for Civil Rights. They won a North Carolina Supreme Court case Friday on behalf of the families of victims of the state's eugenics program.
The Center for Civil Rights is known for taking on pro bono cases such as fighting for equality in public schools, public access to water and sewer, and safe and affordable housing. But center staff told me their ability to represent clients is now under threat.
Here at the Rogers Road Community Center, children from low-income families come to play and for tutoring after school. Reverend Robert Campbell is the community center's director. He says the center provides a clean and safe place for the neighborhood, but he says it hasn't always been that way.
There have been tests done on our well water that we use for cooking, cleaning, and washing our clothes. Had different chemicals in it.
A nearby landfill had contaminated the community water, so Campbell turned to the UNC Law School Center for Civil Rights for help.
It changed the outcome, we believe, because of that involvement and the question being asked, who are you?
Campbell says it was only after getting connected to OWASA water lines that the center was able to get started. But the BOG is considering a proposal to close the Center for Civil Rights, prohibiting students like these from litigating in pro bono cases where those like Reverend Campbell sought guidance.
So the people we serve, they don't have access to the courts. They are usually low-income, minority folks.
Steve Long is behind the move. Long told the News and Observer, this proposed policy is designed to keep the focus of UNC centers on education and avoid any more centers engaging in litigation. Suing the state and its municipalities violates the mission of the university. While Long says the policy is intended to refocus the school on academics, managing attorney for the Center for Civil Rights, Mark Dorison, says practical experience for law students is crucial.
I believe what's really motivating this attack from the Board of Governors is not how we do the work, but the nature of the work we do. Progressive civil rights advocacy on behalf of, people of color.
The children of the Rogers Road community are still benefiting from the center's services.
How many lives have been changed because of the UNC Civil Rights Center?
The Reverend Campbell says the evidence for him is in the bright future for the youth of his community.
For now, the Center for Civil Rights is prohibited from taking on any new cases. The BOG will formally vote on the issue in May.
UNC's Public Records Office has adopted a web-based portal to help field public records requests. People will now be able to submit their requests online, and the new system will track the progress of each request. In the past, requests were made via emails, and updates on the progress of the requests weren't available. Office staff say they hope the new system will streamline the process.
Recycling the wrong items could cause big economic headaches. Environmental reporter Abby Vincent shows us how good intentions can sometimes lead to bad outcomes.
Every year, trucks dump 130,000 tons of materials at the Sunoco recycling plant in Raleigh, but 14% ends up as garbage. UNC professor Jay Cable says she's an avid recycler. Like so many of us, she tries to recycle as many items as possible.
I can't stand waste. If there's any hope of the recycling going to the right place, then I'm willing to take the chance.
The chance that everything in her blue bin is recyclable. Orange County recycling expert Blair Pollock.
The recycling economy is dependent upon getting the right materials in the bin and keeping the wrong ones out. Every time a wrong one goes in, it gets rejected somewhere down the line.
That costs the Sunoco recycling plant about $50 per ton. Take this old Halloween pumpkin. Clearly not recyclable, but not as big a threat as plastic grocery bags.
They tend to tangle up all the gears at the recycling facility, and that causes slowdowns, and then people have to stop the machinery and fix that.
To avoid gumming up the works, follow instructions from your local recycler. Both of these plastic containers are marked number 1, yet one is recyclable and one isn't. And it's because of their shape. This plastic bottle is recyclable, but this plastic clamshell will get caught and twisted in machinery. When it comes to number 1 plastics, they must be in the shape of a bottle in order to be recyclable.
Pollock urges people to think of the big picture as they fill their bins.
In order to keep the market for recycled products strong, He says, whenever possible, to purchase products like these made from recycled materials. In Chapel Hill, I'm Abby Vinson.
If you want to find out what you can and cannot recycle, search for curbside recycling in Orange County. Temperatures are in the 50s today, but that hasn't stopped students from soaking up the sun.
Is even warmer weather on the way? Meteorologist Alex Komet has the 5-day forecast coming up next.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Meteorologist Alex Komet is here with the weather. It's been pretty warm this week, so is the spring weather going to stick around? What can we expect?
Thanks, Sharon. Unfortunately, I do have the bad news, followed by some good news, though. The winter weather is not completely out of here. It shows its face again tonight and tomorrow night. But as we take a look at the radar here, you can see that over the triangle, we have 60 degrees across the area. We have 60 in Chapel Hill. We have 61 in Durham and 61 in Raleigh. Across the area, we have mostly clear skies with a few passing high clouds. Those clouds will dissipate as we go through the evening hours. And the reason for that being is if you take a look at the surface map, here's a picture of yesterday. This unsettled area of weather is what you heard rolling through last night around 11 as most of you were in bed, or at least headed to bed. And the reason for those thunderstorms is because this area of high pressure over the Gulf of Mexico, the surface winds associated with that flow in a clockwise direction. So all day on Monday, it was pumping in this warm, moist air, bringing up the energy, the potential energy. And then above this, we had this cool, dry air coming down from the north, which is much more dense than warm, moist air. When they meet, it causes that air to lift, condense, and the greater the difference between the moisture content of both air masses, the greater the severe weather it can be. There were some spots in South Carolina that experienced hail. Lucky for us, it was just some heavy rain and some lightning that rolled through the area last night. If we take a look at the current surface map, you can see that that frontal boundary has moved well offshore, and what's happening now is there's a high pressure from the north that's making its way into the area. And again, with that clockwise flow, what's happening is these clouds over the area are going to dissipate, which is getting rid of the insulation that we have from the heating of the day, allowing those temperatures to drop, along with this cold air coming in from the North Atlantic, which is going to allow us to drop below freezing temperatures, and that's how we go from 80 to 30 in less than 36 hours. Today we topped out at a high of 63 degrees, few passing clouds, light winds from the east. Tonight we will clear out. It's going to allow those temperatures to drop below freezing, so if you have any sensitive vegetation, you may want to bring those in. Definitely something to consider if you've already planted, figure out a way to cover and protect those. And then tomorrow on your way out the door, 31 degrees at 8 a.m., 44 by noon, and then up to 52 by 5 o'clock. That high pressure is going to move closer to the area, which is going to make for clear skies all day long. So if you don't see any clouds, don't be surprised. And same weather for Friday, except definitely an improvement. The Sweet 16 game, if you're headed out to a friend's house or to a local restaurant to check out that game, conditions around 7:09 you should expect to be 63 degrees and then down to 55 by 9 o'clock around the end of the game. And then if you want to reclaim your spring break this weekend, the beach is looking great. 72 degrees on Saturday, 74 on Sunday. Sunny the whole time with a low of 57. So if you want that nighttime walk on the beach, it's going to be great. And then take a look at a 5-day forecast. slow start. We have 52 on Thursday, getting up to 68 on Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 70. 73 on Saturday and Sunday with a chance of rain on Sunday, and then 78, probably 80 on Monday with beautiful weather. So if you have spring fever, definitely something to look forward to.
Exciting. So are we earlier or later on the warm weather right now?
I think we're right on time. You know, the first day of spring was Monday, so you know, as we get further into it, the chances of those winter precipitation will definitely go away. I don't see anything in the foreseeable future, but we do have a couple more chilly nights coming up, and then a great start to next week.
Well, I'm definitely ready for that warm weather to stick around.
Yeah,
but
very
thank you
much
for
so.
that update.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Coming up on Carolina Week Sports, we dive deeper into Friday's Sweet 16 matchup.
Learn more about Butler and what Carolina could face if it advances to the Elite Eight.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. My name is Brett Thompson, and as you already know, the men's basketball team will travel to Memphis this weekend to face Butler in the Sweet 16. Now, we've already showed you what the Tar Heels did to advance past the first weekend and what they had to say about the Bulldogs earlier. Now let's take a look at what makes Butler such a dangerous 4 seed, starting with its best players. Junior forward Keelan Martin leads the Bulldogs in scoring and rebounding, averaging about 16 points and about 6 boards per game off the bench. He's scored more than 20 points 10 times this season, and he's the man Theo Pinson will be assigned with locking down on the wing. Meanwhile, Andrew Stravis was honored as a first-team All-Big East member. Stravis is a jack-of-all-trades, providing solid defense, rebounding, and when he has to, some scoring from all over the court. Now for the Tar Heels, one of the most consistent keys throughout the season for success has been out-rebounding opponents. Against Butler, it remains an important focal point. The Bulldogs are 16-2 when they out-rebound other opponents this year, and just 9-6 when other teams dominate the glass. Now when you compare Butler and UNC's rebounding margins, that bodes well for the Tar Heels as they hold a hearty +13 to +1 advantage. And if you're wanting to sound like the smartest person at your Sweet 16 watch party, here are a few notable stats and tidbits that can round out your knowledge of the Bulldogs. A familiar face runs the point for Butler in Tyler Lewis. You might remember the Teen Wolf from his 2-year stint at NC State, and you know Wolfpack fans would love nothing more than to see an old friend knock out the Tar Heels early. Now, Butler is one of the few teams in the nation to hold an all-time winning record against UNC, holding a 3-2 advantage. That includes a 2-0 record against Roy Williams, both of those games coming on neutral courts. And finally, if you're not convinced Butler can beat a 1 seed, the Bulldogs have already done it twice this season, sweeping defending national champions and a #1 overall seed Villanova. They also knocked off 2-seeded Arizona in non-conference play. These Bulldogs are for real, and Carolina should not take them lightly. Now, if knocking on all of the wood here, if Carolina beats Butler, the Heels would take on one of college basketball's elites Sunday in the form of either UCLA or Kentucky. Let's take a quick look at the tail of the tape between these two, just in case. These are two of the top 10 scoring offenses in the country, with UCLA putting up more points than any other team. Both teams feature sensational freshmen. The Bruins have Lonzo Ball. Just ask his dad about how good he is. And the Wildcats have our old friend Malik Monk, who you already know can explode for 40 points on any given night. And the teams have already gone head-to-head this season, with the Bruins edging Kentucky out 97-92 back in December, handing the Wildcats their first loss of the season. So there's certainly a lot of pro talent on those two rosters. And speaking of pro talent, the football team displayed some of its crop of NFL draft hopefuls Tuesday during its annual Pro Day. NFL scouts filled Navy Field watching and analyzing Tar Heel talent. Starting with the 40-yard dash, the athletes cycled through physical tests and position drills. Despite all of the budding talent at other positions, ESPN and the NFL Network kept all eyes on the man who could be the first quarterback drafted in April. The newly named Mitchell Trubisky closed the day by running through a series of routes, showcasing his talent alongside his former teammates on what had to be a proud day for head coach Larry Fedora.
It's the next step in the process for them to reach their dreams and goals, and it's one of the things that we talked about when we recruited these kids is I want to have a hand in helping them reach their dreams and goals, and hopefully each one of them did well enough today to do that.
All right, Brett, so where are you going to watch the game on Friday?
I'm kind of bouncing between bars in my head. I'm thinking about he's not here. I think it's going to be a nice day, as Alex told us.
If you can get in.
If you can, I'm going to have to get there early for sure, but I'll tell you what, if anybody wants to buy me a blue cup, I will not say no.
Go ahead, I'll let you toss.
Oh, great. Well, up next, we'll show you an Instagram account that puts your selfies to shame.
Seeing a dog can make anyone's day.
Carolina Week.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Seeing a dog can make anyone's day.
Carolina Week reporter Danielle Schaefer introduces us to 2 UNC students who are using social media to showcase Chapel Hill's furry friends.
You may see Alex Corman and Isabel Donolo out on the quad, camera in hand. They run Dogs of UNC, an Instagram account filled with Tar Heel pups.
I brought the idea up to Alex about just making an Instagram where we can put all the dogs that we see on campus.
Corman is the photo editor for the Daily Tar Heel, but in his spare time, he's out searching for dogs.
When we see one, I basically just kind of run over, and sometimes literally run over. I will change the direction in which I am walking to intercept these dogs with their owners. Because it'll be like, we will see across the crowd, we'll be like, baby golden, just go. And we just kind of gun it in one direction.
The duo has been posting pictures since August 2016. They've photographed over 100 dogs, like Zoot, Grayson, and Gertie, and have nearly 500 followers. As for long-term goals, Donolo has high hopes.
Becoming a household name would be cool. Just kind of when you bring it up, people know and they get excited and they want, to see their dog on the page.
For Corman, photographing dogs is the perfect blend of work and play.
This is kind of like a nice way to just do something you love in a very kind of low-key, relaxing, fun environment, and you get to meet a lot of really adorable dogs that naturally relieve your stress anyway.
But one thing's for sure, on a sunny day, they'll be out on the prowl for the perfect shot. In Chapel Hill, I'm Danielle Schaefer reporting.
Well, I have no doubt that Instagram account is going to take off because everyone loves to look at dogs.
That was my best friend's dog. If anyone saw the gray little Dachshund, like the little tiny wiener dog,
cute.
That was my best friend's dog. Same as Grayson.
Amazing, and I do the same thing. I will literally misdirect myself on campus
Right.
if I see an
Just to go
animal
pet a dog.
that needs to be pet.
Exactly.
Anyways, that's great. So that does it for this week of Carolina Edition.
Thanks for watching and good night.